Hello, sister travelers. Well, is there a best time to book your flights? Well, today I'll dive into some different ways that you can ensure that you get the best pricing on your airfares. Listen in. Welcome to Solo Travel Adventures for women 50 and older. I'm Cheryl Esch, your host, solo travel advocate, freedom traveler, and coach. This is your passport to adventure. There is some good news and some not so good news on booking flights. When is the best time? So honestly, there used to be, people used to believe that Tuesdays at such and such a time was the best time to book a flight. And that is not true anymore. Matter of fact, there is no specific day or time in which you will find a cheap flight because honestly, cheap flights are available all the time and they just drop, randomly. So you can't really predict when you're going to be able to get a cheap flight. There are ways to obviously watch a flight, different ways to bring your pricing down. So one of the ways, there is something that they call in the travel industry, it's called the Goldilocks window. So we all know the story of Goldilocks, finding just the right temperature of her porridge. So finding just the right time to actually book flights. There is a window. They suggest for domestic flights, you book 1 to 3 months beforehand. And then for international, you want to book 2 to 8 months beforehand. Now, within that, there's also, you want to be aware of some peak travel times, right? So it's going to be difficult to potentially find cheap flights. I'm not saying it's not possible. I have seen them during some of those peak travel times. So peak travel times are, of course, the summer months. This too is really dependent on where you live. I'm thinking Northern Hemisphere. We got summer months that are really popular times to travel. And then the holidays. So certain holidays are really like Christmas is very popular, and New Year's, of course, to be somewhere special for New Year's. A lot of people like to travel. And so those times are a little more tricky to get good flights. But in that case, for example, let's say, and right now would be a good time, if you are planning to go somewhere during the Christmas holiday, that you need to book that now. It is August. They do say that you want to book those kind of either the peak travel times, whether it's summer or Christmas or holidays. And I know in Europe, like August is their big holiday time. And then even depending on what country, Easter can be a pretty big holiday travel time. I personally experienced that when I was in Paris during Easter week. It was very crowded. And then once Easter hit, it got pretty quiet that following week. But anyways, so they suggest that you book in the opposite season. So if you are looking for someplace to go or planning to go someplace during Christmas holiday, you want to book now or during the summer. And then vice versa, if you want to book something for summer, come December, you want to start booking that right then. So that will enable you to probably find some more reasonable flights. Now, there are other ways to find inexpensive flights. In episode 18, which is way back in my early years of this podcast, I do explain how to plan a trip backwards, particularly if you are flexible with time and when you go. And I give you just a step-by-step on how to use Google Flights to achieve that and do some searches. There's also a great platform, which I'm a member, but I'm not an affiliate. It used to be called Scott's Cheap Flights. It's now called Going, Going. Daily, I get emails from them about some cheap flights that are out there. They have prompted me to look into flights that I've taken. Just spark some interest into maybe some places I haven't considered, but I see a really inexpensive flight. So you might want to join that. It's pretty inexpensive to join or become a member. And then that way they will send you almost daily cheap flights, whatever they find. But there's also a way you can set up those reminders to come to you based on what airport or airports you want to fly out of. So they'll give you deals from those specific airports. It's not just going to be like random deals that don't apply to you. So that is some ways to, find some cheap flights. I want to encourage you, if you have not booked something for Christmas and New Year's, you need to do that today. Get online, see what you can find. Maybe join Going membership. There are some other ones out there that also provide some information on cheap flights that are available. They track those, they look for them. You could also track that maybe on an app called Hopper. I've done that where I've tracked a flight to see, and they always tell you, hey, we predict it's going to drop, or we predict it's going to get higher. You should book now. So those are different methods. It is possible, folks. I'm all about cheap flights. The reason being is that gives me more money to travel more often. But if money is not an issue and you actually like to fly first class, then this might not apply to you. So, but everybody can really revel in the idea of getting a really inexpensive flight. And I'll just share, I have a flight round trip to Portugal, to Lisbon specifically, and it's $600 round trip. So it really depends on your timing, how long you're going to be gone. I'm going to go back to this little Tuesday thing. I know they say Tuesdays, when you book a flight, it's not necessarily the cheapest day. It doesn't matter anymore. But in my experience, folks, if you fly on a Tuesday, it seems like that has given me the best pricing. This is a generalization, but in my experience, if I book on a Tuesday, they seem to be cheaper flights for some reason. And I've even had some people, kind of comment that in general, for example, when I moved, Tuesday was a better day to move. The movers even said Tuesdays are the best day to move. So I'm not going to claim that Tuesdays are going to be the cheapest day, but allow yourself to be flexible in when you book your flight and use the Google calendar to see what day is the cheapest. And you can go back to that episode 18, and walk through how to find an inexpensive flight and get out there and definitely book your Christmas and New Year's trip now. Hey sisters, you've probably been hearing me talking about the past 2 episodes of a program by Stephanie Gass, a podcast program, and I used her. I highly recommend you joining. It starts in less than a week. Join her free bootcamp. It's 5 days. It starts September 9th, and it will, if podcasting is something you're interested in or something you have thought about for a while, please go ahead and join that free bootcamp that's happening next week.
What's up, new friend? I'm Steph Gass. I know you just heard a little bit about me, but I wanted to personally come on and invite you to the Profitable Podcast Bootcamp. This is a 5-day challenge, so to speak, for those of you who are interested in podcasting or who already have a podcast and you want to know how a podcast works to grow an audience or make money online. I promise you it's so worth your time. And this 1 hour per day live challenge is going to give you everything you need to know about why podcasting works, how to make money from a podcast, how to make sales really easy, and so much more. We're giving away swag, door prizes. We even have scholarships to my courses and programs valued at over $10,000. So we just wanted to come on and invite you to be part of this challenge. Head right now over to stefaniegass.com/bootcamp. That's stefaniegass.com/bootcamp and get registered right away. You'll get entered to win free swag. And the best part of all is you're going to learn how podcasting can potentially be a way for you to truly grow, make an impact and income in an online business and allow you to have that freedom and that fruit of not feeling like you are tied to social media 24/7 or having to do 100 different things to figure out a way to be successful for the kingdom of God. This is going to lay all of those pieces out for you in alignment with your faith. Again, StephanieGass.com/bootcamp.